Okay, this lecture we're going to talk about trades, pickups, and injuries on NBA teams. And these three things really make low price players have big games. So you're going to want to study up and look out for these, definitely. And I'm going to show you guys a couple examples of this. So trades and pickups first. So you're going to target players who just got picked up or traded, and they're going to see a big increase in minutes because of this. So these players were going to be underpriced because they're priced at their current or their former role on their old team, and now on their new team they're going to have a large expanded role with a lot of minutes and opportunities. So these are low price players, and if you play them, it'll allow you to pick up all-star players who get big points also. So the first example is David Lee. So on the Celtics, he played 0 minutes a game pretty much. And then he got picked up or cut and picked up by the Dallas Mavericks. So you can see his price here was $3,100, and this is his first or second game with the Mavericks on this screenshot. So he got 25 minutes, scored 14 points, 14 rebounds, got 37.5 fantasy points, which is huge for his tiny price of $3,100. So then next game he went up to 3,500, which is still super cheap. Had another big game in 22 minutes, and then he kind of fell off in this game. Only got 14 minutes, but you can kind of ride the hot hand on this, and he continued the next game. Only 18 minutes, but huge production: 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 blocks and 3 steals. And then his price continued to grow, and he had another huge game at 46.5 points, and still his price grew to 4,600, but he still was producing crazy numbers for that price. And now he's all the way up to 5,100. Alright, injuries is the next thing that you're going to want to look out for. And these injuries are interesting because they can be right before the game happens, and you have to really be paying attention and get these players in your lineup quickly. So again, you're going to want to target players who will see an increase in minutes due to a key player in their position getting injured. So these players will be very underpriced for their new role, and it could be just for one game or a few games. So these low price players again allow you to pick all-star players who will get get big points for you. So the first one we're going to look at is JaMychal Green. He's been filling in for Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol, and he's been filling in really nicely, as you can see. 24 minutes in the first game that he was they were out. So he had a pretty good game, 25.5. It's pretty average, but look at his price, 3,700. It stayed the same, and he went off for 50 points in his next game and got huge minutes, 37 with the starting power forward and starting center out. He got a ton of minutes. And then the next game, same minutes, same huge production, and he went up to 4,500 and then jumped $1,200 up to 5,700 and still got 40, which is good value. And then now he's at 6,000. You might want to think about fading him at that price, but you could ride him for a while at the low price and huge minutes in production due to these injuries. Alright, second, Ronnie Price, filling for Brandon Knight and Eric Bledsoe. And the Suns really didn't have a true point guard on the roster besides him. Price got a ton of minutes because of this. So his first game, you can see he got 38 minutes and 30 points. And then his next 3 games, he actually was deterred by foul trouble and some blowout games. So his minutes were down and also his production was down. But then you can see if you stuck with him and believed that he was going to get the minutes, which he did versus Orlando, he got 45 minutes and a big 38-point game. And he was also about 1% owned. So you really got a low-owned player and at a very cheap price. Next, this is the craziest example right here. So Brooke Lopez went down, they announced it like an hour before the game. So you can see what Thomas Robinson was doing earlier, getting about 15 minutes a game, about like 15 points, fantasy points per game. So then he has the lowest price possible of 3,000, and then he just got the chance of a lifetime to get 40 minutes in a game, and then he had a huge game, 4 steals, 18 points, 17 rebounds, just a massive game for 53 points, and he's the lowest priced player on DraftKings that day. And also, the Nets had a Thaddeus Young injury, which allowed Willie Reed, also on the same team as Thomas Robinson, at the same price, 3,000, super cheap, to get extended minutes. And he was seeing around 10 minutes a game, then got 32 in this contest, had 14 points, 8 rebounds, 4 blocks for 36 fantasy points. So if you played both of those guys, that is a combined 6,000 in salary, and you're getting huge production. And you can see where I was studying up and picked this lineup that made 381.75 points. It is crazy. So I had Thomas Robinson and I had Willie Reed, and people picked up on it a little bit. Only 5% owned in this contest for Willie Reed, and Thomas Robinson 14. So they really had huge games, and then these super cheap players, and Manu was super cheap, who his first came back off injury. It's another example. He was only 1% owned. So playing those three guys allowed me to have huge names like Pau Gasol, James Harden, DeAndre Jordan, Kawhi Leonard, and Ricky Rubio. And these guys all just had huge games. Like, these all-stars always have big games. But Willie Reed and Thomas Robinson really were the ones that set me over the edge. So 381 points, most points I've ever scored. It got me third place in a contest that had 25,000 total people in it. So that was good for $750 on only a $1 bet. So you can see how these injuries really can benefit you.